welcome to SwatTank 2024. Yeah, let's start with a round of applause. Come on. I really appreciate folks for making it here. I know it's an insanely busy year, so it's amazing that you're here supporting your fellow students. They've worked so hard. I'm Susanna Fishman. I'm the director of the Center of Innovation and Leadership, and I'm here with Dakota Gibbs, the program coordinator for CIL. And we are thrilled to welcome you to the 11th annual SwatTank. Just in case anyone needs a little clarification, SwatTank is an idea pitch competition. Students applied with a team and an idea for a product or a service, and then spent the semester learning how to define the problem, identify their customer needs, develop a solution, a financial model, and a compelling pitch. Along the way, students participated in 2 boot camps with Jay Freelander, Sharp McNally Chair of Green and Socially Responsible Business at College of the Atlantic, met with their alumni mentors, worked with the Writing Center Speaking Associates, Career Services, and CIL staff. It's an enormous amount of work in a short period of time, and the students did an amazing job bringing their initial concepts into the compelling pitches that you're going to see today. These pitches will be assessed by our 3 esteemed judges, SWAT alum Zach Ontiveros, who's currently Group Product Manager at Google DeepMind and previously co-founder of Hivery and Head of Engineering at Gradible. Dr. Vasanta Chiganti, who is Assistant Professor of Computer Science and researches next-generation network architecture, device and contact mobility in the internet, and performance modeling of large-scale networks. And finally, Anthony Castignano. Do my best. Castignano. Yep. You deserve your name pronounced correctly. Associate Vice President for Campus Services, who holds an MPA from Valparaiso University and has more than 20 years of combined higher education experience in food service, retail, and auxiliary services. So let's give them a round of applause. We have 5 teams competing today, and you're welcome to follow along in the programs, which are sort of distributed around. Students have 3 minutes to pitch their product or service, and the judges have 7 minutes to ask them questions. Pitches are assessed according to 6 criteria: their understanding of the problem, the customer, the value proposition, the financial model, the ecosystem, and their next steps. After all of the teams pitch, the judges will have 10 minutes to confer. They'll leave the room and decide who gets first prize for $3,000, second prize for $1,000, third prize for $250. While they're out making this weighty decision, you all will have the opportunity to vote on your favorite pitch, and the winner of the audience favorite gets $500. So feel free to take notes on your program so you remember who you liked. After the judging, we'll announce the winners and celebrate with everyone in a reception just outside in the lobby. I do want to take the opportunity to thank our alumni mentors, Vishal Chabria, Matt Garmer, YJ Hio, Alex Jacobs, and Sarah Luger, as well as our friends in Career Services, especially Jen Barrington, Advancement, the Writing Center, and our CIL interns, who are all listed in greater detail in the program, without which none of this would be possible. And without further ado, I am thrilled to invite our first team to the stage, Chance, founded by Andrew Hetman, Theron Mancia, and Olivia Medeiros Sakamoto.
Testing.
Hello. In 2017, 5 million people attended the Women's March in DC.
and less than 5 years later, over 15 million people came out to support the George Floyd and Black Lives Matter movements between the COVID years. In truth, the number of movements globally at scale has actually tripled in the last 2 decades. But this creates a difficult problem for organizers. As the number of participants increases, it's actually really difficult for them to live broadcast updates, as well as synchronize chants, and also share resources before, during, and after these types of demonstrations. These pain points have been expressed by our consumers directly during interviews.
Today, we introduce Chants, our all-in-one solution for modern activism. As an organizer, before you organize an event, you go to Chants, create an event, fill in the information, and once you submit, 3 important things get generated. A link to the Google Maps location, live chat, and a QR code associated with this live chat. Organizers share the QR code with their participants. When you scan it, it takes you here. As an organizer, you can post real-time updates, and it's gonna take effect immediately. You can choose a chant that will sync perfectly on all your participants' devices, unifying their voices. This technology has never been done before in the field of activism. Think of it as a digital bullhorn. It's truly impressive. For your participants, it's real easy. They have everything and anything they need to know about in one space. The updates, the chants, the QR code so they can share it amongst each other, and a link with all the resources about the cause. There is also a section for ad campaigns and financial campaigns like GoFundMe. We have a moderation system in place to prevent hate speech and violation, and we also alert the organizers before they post any sensitive information.
As far as our financial model is concerned, we are selling our software platform directly to other businesses. And we are hoping to target around 50,000 plus nonprofit organizations and activist organizations. Our main source of revenue will be subscriptions. We are looking at offering 3 tiers, Light, Standard, and Pro. And we are doing this to accommodate organizations of all sizes. As far as costs, we're looking at around $142,000 a year. This is including employee salaries. Without employee salaries, it'll be around $20,000 a year. Our 5-year revenue trajectory showcases that we're actually going to break even and reach profitability within our 1st and 2nd year of operations. And these are the number of subscriptions that are going to take us there.
This is the team, and we lived the pain points of our customers personally, and we understand exactly the needs of the key stakeholders. We identify 6 of them, and we have designed the platform in a way that meets all the needs of them mutually with a net benefit. With SwatTank, okay, thank you.
So my first question would be, can you make things secretive in a way that like not everybody can see what they're doing unless you join their group, or is it all public? Like how does it work when you create an event if like you don't want people to know everything that you're doing, you know, in that process? Is there a way to control that in different methods?
Yes, so basically we mentioned the idea of a digital bull. Any information that's being posted by the organizer and reflected on the main webpage is the information that can be publicly available, anything that you can say in public. But for now, we don't have a particular way for organizers to contact each other secretly or within the organization, but this is something we plan to have in the future. Speaking of the things we plan to have in the future, SwatTank, we can expand beyond the BICO and TRICO and Philly because we have already reached some audience in the region. We can launch a new product. It's already live. You can take a scan of the QR code in the next. And we can help organizations migrate to our solutions. We have 26 early adopters who all think we're essential and we relieve their pain points and we're needed now more than ever. Please take a scan of the QR code and try for yourself. Answer the question?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Hi, great presentation. I guess I have 2 questions. One is, you talked, your motivation was you had 5 million people wanting to do a protest, right? So have you tested your scalability? Like what does it mean? Like how would you scale, let's say, you know, you suddenly just went viral, right? The app went viral, lots and lots of people really want to use your app. I don't know, for various reasons, and each one of these events has, I don't know, millions of people attending, what does the backend system look like?
Yeah, so long term, we'd probably host on AWS. So we'd look at hosting some of their servers, particularly maybe an ECS container, which is automatically scalable. AWS does the job for you. And if we can expand to a bigger technical team, then obviously we'd love to handle the infrastructure ourselves. But mainly hosted on AWS, and we accounted for that in our cost breakdown. That's part of the cloud hosting fees we listed there.
Okay,
We're using Firebase.
Okay.
It has subscription tiers, which makes it easy, like really easy to scale. It handles almost all the backend work for us for now. But as we grow, we're going to migrate to a new service.
I guess the second part of my question was, what's preventing me from spamming your system and just creating false QR codes endlessly?
What's preventing, sorry?
Me from spamming your system and just creating endless number of events that don't actually ever happen.
So rate limiting, essentially, that's something we could implement. We could rate limit the number of requests that come in.
Or even distinguish real requests from ones that just don't happen.
Yes, that's a good question. So basically, the person who creates the QR code is the organizer, which will be with an organization that has been already verified. So we can immediately track this behavior and know where it's coming from and take like precautions or actions based on this. About the QR code, we generated using our own API. It's not our own, but we use a third-party service that generates a QR code for us once you create the event. So there is no way that someone would change it. And if you want to come up and join the platform, you can scan the one I have on my phone. And the person standing next to you can scan it. And this is how it can scan. We're on the same webpage, so you can check for yourself before you scan something that is not what we created.
I will also add one little thing, that we have the tiered subscription system such that only 2 events are allowed on the free system, but if you're paying for the $459 a month kind of system, that's the only way you'd be allowed to actually add unlimited events, and in that case, with the limited number of organizer seats, you would be expected as an organizer to be a trustworthy person who wouldn't spam with that number of unlimited events.
I'm curious how you designed your small, medium, and large feature sets. So from a cost perspective, like the total number of users is where you're going to get a lot of the compute traffic, right? Sending out all the messages, but you have it based on events and total numbers of organizers. How did you decide on this structure?
Yeah, I'll let you talk about the market share potentially. But really what we thought about is how can we be as accommodating as possible to organizations of any size, small, medium, large. So this isn't just a platform for your large-scale organizations like BLM, but it's also for like smaller organizations. Think of activities and clubs on Swarthmore's campus, for instance. So that was what we had in mind specifically for the light tier. How can we be accommodating to those small-scale organizations? And what we kept in mind is hopefully as they scale and become larger platforms, they can think of us when they decide who they partner with.
Yes, and one thing that helped us decide how to pick the costs, we have done a market opportunity research, and we have seen that the industry size of events management software is about $1 trillion. A subset of this is the live events industry, which is about 200 billion. It's 22% of the main industry, which is a great place to tackle. We studied the competition, and we have seen how much market shares they have in the market, and it's only 1.7 billion, which is less than 1% total market penetration. This creates a gap, and this gap is an opportunity, and we are the ones to win it. We have studied the competition, and we are the only people who do in-event support, the whole update and chanting system. We're also amongst like the few who do the ad support, and we have a digital archive, which has shown a lot of people have shown a lot of interest into it. We also have like before and after event support. We provide reports, and we maintain participants' loyalty. None of the other solutions that exist right now do all this, like this set of features. Did that answer the question?
So a follow-up to that, on your price points, what are you factoring as where you think you're going to get the number of price points to make your model work, that you're gonna cover all your costs. Because $459 a month, I would say that's a really steep amount for organizations to pay for certain software that they may only use once or twice, and depending on what they're trying to get out of it. So how did you come up with your figures of where you were gonna get?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I totally missed the question. So what I'll say is we researched the budgets of these organizations, some of which are granted up to $90 million. That's how much BLM raised throughout the COVID years. So these nonprofits and activist organizations are actually operating in budgets within the millions. And so I think we kind of thought about these numbers as something that would be reasonable. You know, $3,000 a year, $2,000 a year is, I think, pretty reasonable considering the budgets they're operating with.
Yeah, and the bigger an organization is, the more money it's going to have, and the more affordable the subscription tiers will be, because through us they can reach more audience, and they can reach more donors, and they can reach more sponsors. Yeah, sorry, I was going the wrong direction. Anyways, all the key stakeholders can benefit from this solution, and it's worth it according to how much audience and reach they can get from it.
Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. Next up, we have Nudge Budge, which is founded by Elisa, Abby, Gia, and Aiden.
It's no secret that we've all felt overwhelmingly busy at college. At Swarthmore, 72% of students forgo meals due to lack of time, and 50% say it's hard to make time for exercise. When students have a hard time maintaining a healthy lifestyle, bigger problems arise for colleges everywhere. Research shows that 4 in 10 students have considered dropping out of college due to mental health issues. But current resources are not tailored to the college student experience, and they don't incorporate a way to utilize the best asset for motivation, your friends. That's where we come in. We present to you Nudge Budge, the habit builder app that knows what it's like to be a college student.
Nudge Budge is a holistic wellness app that has 3 key features: Budge, Nudge, and college specificity. Budge is a feature typical to any habit tracking app. The app will suggest goals such as water intake or steps per day, which will be integrated using an Apple Health Kit API, or you can customize your own goals personalized to your own needs. One feature that sets us apart is Nudge. A nudge is a notification sent by a friend that encourages you to progress towards your goals. Whether it's a gentle reminder for you to drink more water or a motivational message for you to take more steps, a nudge is a fun and supportive element towards your wellness journey. Through a discussion with the Swarthmore SWAT team, we discovered that colleges would be more incentivized to buy our product if we were to integrate the existing wellness models by each college. That's why for the college specificity page for Swarthmore College, we will be giving you a map incorporating the various BWell modules, ensuring that students have the resources they need right at their fingertips.
A market analysis revealed that since COVID-19, the habit tracking app industry has been thriving. Valued at $8.8 billion in 2022 and expected to over double in 6 years, it's a relatively new market with no better time to break in with new ideas than now. We identified 3 major competitors who share the most similar mission to our app. From being overwhelming, boringly simple, and out of a college student's budget, we found them untailored to student needs.
For colleges, one of the greatest consequences associated with poor student wellness is dropout rates. Using our app, colleges can supplement student wellness and simultaneously raise the retention rate. Here is our revenue model. We plan to sell seats to colleges through yearly subscription contracts, so students can use our app for free. This is the estimated cost and revenue for our first year. We plan to develop a prototype in 3 months. In 6 months, we hope to deploy the app at Swarthmore and expand to other college campuses in a year.
This is our multi-talented team. Nudge your friends and prosper better habits. Thank you.
My first question is on, sorry, I'm asking the financial questions. Around why did you choose to target instead of the individual, the university, from a subscription perspective?
So we figured that colleges provide a lot of different services and website tools for free to students using the subscription contracts. For example, Swarthmore students are provided with Adobe tools and Rhino 3D, these kind of websites for free because Swarthmore pays Adobe $150 per student per year. So that's why we try to target colleges instead of students. And it would be more burden for students to pay $20 a month than colleges paying $20 a month. So we chose our schools as our target.
I guess you talked about it being integrated into the wellness program at Swarthmore. I think I missed the parts where the integration feeds in because that's probably the most powerful part about this.
Sorry, could you repeat the last part of the question?
Yeah, so how is your app different from your competitors in terms of the integration of wellness that's customized to the college that you're supporting?
So when we talked to the Swell team, we realized that we had an initial idea about college specificity that was kind of different from what they wanted and what we could do to actually target these schools and get them to buy our product. And they said that there's already an existing model of wellness on campus. How are you guys not competing with us in terms of providing wellness and and providing resources, and what can we do to work together instead? And each college has different wellness teams, different wellness models. Like we have Be Well, for example, very specific to Swarthmore College, based off like broader wellness ideas. But we just really wanted, so if you look up here, there's a map, and the wellness modules can be targeted. You can look, and students can see where each module fits onto the map. And that way, we just really wanted college students to feel like this was an app specific to themselves and that they could access, and that it was really just dedicated to them.
Do you anticipate different colleges having models that don't fit into your API?
This necessarily isn't an API. I think the API that we mentioned was more towards like the Apple Health Kit, where it's more geared towards the budgets. But definitely creating a separate API for this college specificity page is something that we will consider integrating when expanding.
So I guess my question would be is on scalability a little bit of this. So I know you're focused on just Swarthmore College kind of at this point of it, but thinking about, is this something you're thinking about for K through 12? Is this, where does this go from just a college and university? And can you handle if it was an institution of, a larger university like Penn State University, for instance, or something like that? How would you go about handling that process? So just kind of thinking about from a scalability.
So we haven't mentioned on our future plan because it's like too far away from now, but we have a plan on expanding to other college campuses such as research universities, which are really larger than Swarthmore College. And we are planning on hiring or getting the volunteers or campus managers to manage the campus-specific resources. So if that answers the questions. Yeah.
And my last one is just, why not, I guess, how have you differentiated yourself from other similar apps, and why not just go direct? Like, why focus on just colleges? Why wouldn't your addressable market's much larger if just anyone in their friend group could nudge each other?
Yeah, so as we mentioned before, we felt like not a lot of apps were integrating the college student experience. So what we have, for example, nudging. Nudging is not a new concept in apps. It's just that when we did our research, there's a current trend in habit tracking apps that's gearing towards community, more community-based habit building. But we did a lot of research and we went through all these apps, and none of them were quite doing what we wanted. They had message features and they had other features where you could maybe join a community, but it wasn't geared towards nudging itself. And we did some research on the psychology behind nudging and what it can really provide to students. And as college students who, right now we're in a community where friendship and just people around us, it's just so prevalent, and we really wanted to emphasize that.
Yeah, I guess one of the questions, like, so how are you building the model so does it build upon itself by learning, like from an AI type situation from people, like their habits of what they're doing and how like a friend can nudge somebody else to help them and things like that? Does it share that information back to a friend? Like they go to the gym, usually 6 a.m., but they didn't go today. So maybe your friend needs more sunshine today. You know, like how does it kind of build its model and brain around these kind of things?
So when we're talking about the nudge feature of our app, so this is very closely integrated with the budge feature. So nudge features, you will be able to press a button to nudge your friend when you see that they haven't completed a goal that they have set for themselves for that day. And we talked about this, and we don't want people to spam their friends to go to the gym like 50 times. And so we will have daily limits on how many times you can nudge a person. And we thought that this was going to be a nice way to motivate students. And we have tried it ourselves. We tried setting ourselves our own goals, and then we messaged each other and to get more exercise or drink water. And it worked better than just having in-app notifications.
Also, in terms of like the AI of alerting your friends or seeing whether they have done their goals or not, we're still working on that, but we do believe it's going to be more of like you looking and being able, like just it being really accessible, and also with the matter of privacy. Like, what if I don't want my friend to see this goal? There's going to be permission sharing notifications, obviously. So when you make a goal, it'll be a choice whether you want to make it public or share it with your friends or not. And we didn't really mention this, but it's also possible to create shared goals with your friends and work towards goals together.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Rush with Maya, Jack, and Eshish.
I feel like the band's supposed to come. We should play Rush music.
Test. One. We got you, Maya. Hello, everybody. This is Team Rush. Today, I want you guys to imagine that you're carrying this luggage and traveling with me. How do you navigate your way? Of course, we use Google Map. Oh, by the way, there's only 5 minutes left before a conference starts at your last destination. Now that you have these huge luggages, where is the accessible entrance, right? You can't be holding this all the time. So the answer is, we don't know. You gotta find out. You gotta ask someone. And that's the problem we're identifying. And then to imagine that problem every time you go to a new place, it's so frustrating, right? But imagine people with mobility disabilities. They have to go through this experience every time they go to a new place. So that is why we're introducing you to Rush mobile app. This is the accessible entrance you guys have been looking for, and with our experience in digital accessibility and community partnerships and social entrepreneurship, Ashish, Maya, and I came here together to imagine a world with better accessibility.
And why do we think that this app is needed? According to Journal of Society and Disability, they found that every 6 out of 10 respondents, people with disabilities, face challenges and environmental barriers in buildings. In the same study, 71% of them were interested in using mobile app. We also interviewed our friends and community members about our app idea, and then they found that this was really needed and necessary.
In Rush mobile application, we show you a digital map that shows all the accessible entrances of an area. In this app, people will be able to add places and just improve the information about accessible entrances around the surrounding. Our model relies on user generating the data to help others and help themselves. Our app would also contain inbuilt accessibility features so that it is accessible to users across a spectrum of disabilities. How does this app work? Okay, imagine we are going to Paris for a conference. So we search up Paris in our app. It will show you all the accessible entrances in Parish Hall as well as in the surrounding buildings. Then you click on the accessible entrance of Parish Hall. It will show you a wider picture of what the entrance looks like. Then it will show you a precise picture of what the way of getting to the entrance. And this is how somebody like Maya, who's rushing to a conference, is able to reach to her destination. Our revenue model works on getting advertisements from small businesses and vendors to whom we will provide exclusive marketing in our app. For our main costs, we have research and development of our app as well as partnerships for the advertisement.
And our next steps include building our app in near 6 months, attending to conferences, bringing awareness to our app idea, and seeking out for advertisement opportunities. And this is Team Rush.
We help people open accessible doors to each other.
So my first question would be, so you show the pictures of the entrance and all of those pieces. What about how they get to the entrance? So is the area that they're actually going through to get to that space actually accessible? And do you show, like, would you show video of how they get there, or would it, like, or they're walking? Does it show them going to that location? How does that work?
That's a great question, and that's definitely a big challenge that we have been dealing in the modern world, where in our app we are trying to solve the problem of showing accessible doors, but there is also a bigger problem of showing accessible paths. Right now we are not working towards like mapping accessible paths because we think that requires even more technicalities. Right now we're really focused on mapping the accessible doors, but definitely that is something in future that we can consider, showing accessible paths to reach a destination. In terms of how do we show how to reach to the accessible entrance, we will be using the technology that is used in like traditional current mapping apps, just like showing the direction. Like it will take you 10 minutes to reach from parish, like in front space to the back space. That's how we are envisioning it. I think it would be really difficult to have videos for every single location, but that is something that users can make, right? When they like click a picture, they could also add video of, oh, this is how the accessible entrance to parish looks like. So that's something that can be definitely integrated in the app.
So great presentation. I'm wondering, so I saw the picture of parish, and I did not get to see the picture where I can push a button and the doors will open for me, right? And so if I wanted that feature, then I don't have that information. So that was the first question. And then second, you said it would be accessible to all forms of disability. So walk me through how your app would work for someone who has visual impairment.
Okay, to answer the first question, yeah, that's again, like it's a very little piece of information to see the button to push the door. So that is something, again, we're relying on the pictures that users will add. To start out with, we founders will go and map these entrances in Philly and nearby campuses and more. So that's something we're hoping to do and would encourage our users. In terms of this app being accessible to users with different spectrum of disability, I have the experience of working with IDS accessibility at Swarthmore, where I've learned all these sorts of digital accessibility requirements, such as making sure the color contrast is the web accessibility requirement, making sure the texts are big enough, but also making sure the technology integrates with voiceover technology is present in iPhone or Android phones. So that is what we are heavily relying on to make sure that our app technology integrates with the existing accessibility features of mobile phones that are out there.
I'm curious, I would think that you have a captive customer base in like local municipalities, people who are responsible for enforcing accessibility requirements. Is there a reason why you chose not to target them as potential customers and you went with an ad supported model? Like you could sell into a government to say, hey, we can have everyone audit for you?
So the reason why we chose small businesses first is we understand the challenge of startups getting into the business, actually. So that's why in the first year we plan to target for small businesses. And if you realize the amount of money we charge is $50. So we realized if it's above $50, people would have to go through and think about it. But if it's between the range of 20 to 50, which is one dinner you pay for, it would be a very easy target. And then our first idea was to go through all these institutions, but we realized it actually takes a lot of time to reach them and then get the answers back. And especially if you think about working with governments, it's a lot of work. But once we get the credibility of working with a lot of businesses and build the customer base, we can definitely be expanding more and more. And as the businesses grow, it will be more easy for us to get the brand name out there.
Yeah, one of the questions so not only thinking about this from the entrances and stuff, are you thinking about like features inside buildings? Like there's impaired hearing items, like for those that have that are blind, we have areas where it can inform them when they are. Have you thought about like that within the buildings too? So like not just how you get into the building, but maybe through the building or things like that? Because that's also a challenge in some places.
Yeah, that was a big debate we had amongst ourselves. Like, can we integrate inside building features? And we came across several challenges, main being privacy and security. Like, not every private property can allow their information be accessible to public, right? So even with Swarthmore, like only students who have card access can get inside building. It would not be viable for a college to show all the entrances inside the building. But something like outdoors is something that can be made public. So that was a big side that we said maybe this is something that we cannot work on right away. I think it's a big challenge to integrate all these sorts of, is there a place where you can get audio tours to locate where you are in a building? I think these are interesting problems that we can keep on tackling as we expand this app in future.
I guess a related idea, how critical do you think it is to have a picture as opposed to categorizing the accessibility level and the type of access you can get, right? I could easily imagine you have a picture and then just going back to even that press button, right? Why couldn't you categorize that with an icon so somebody knows what to expect going up to the door rather than just having a picture of that door? I don't know.
Yes, so so for the accessible entrance, we're gonna follow the ADA compliance, and all doors we're gonna have those features in it. We also thought about what if the accessible entrance is not working? Mm-hmm. Then we have the specific form for users to review and post about it. So we thought of having a red flag on it, and then after that we're gonna review ourselves, and then
I can add on to that. So as you can already see, like since this industry is kind of like no one is doing it, we want to start very simple instead of getting into very small details, and we test as we go. And one of the features that we have, the review button, is where we actually listen to the customers. So let's say if customers complain that, oh, this entrance is super complicated, that their rating would go down. We would have a rating section, and our plan is to show that whether the business supports our organization or not. If they support us, it's going to be green badge. But if the review goes down, the colors would go like reddish. And then we would notify the companies to change it so that we can like hold each other accountable through that process. And that review button includes that if there's some problem arises, which we could be having problems with identifying. So if some people give some feedback, we can definitely work on it and expand on it. So the basic idea of why we're not complicating these things is it's just the getting starting point, and then we can really dig deep into it. Because adding that one button would not be a huge problem once we get started and see what's going on with the problems.
Oh my God, I'm so late for class. This is so confusing, as always. Disgusting.
Isn't this all too familiar? Much like Jermaine, this is a common issue shared by millions of college students. Consider this. This is what leads to that. In the same exact building you're sitting in. Swarthmore, consider this. Swarthmore only sorts 40% of its trash while aiming for 90% by 2035. Yet, with the 2% increase over the past 2 years, this is the distant goal for the next century. And Swarthmore is not alone in this. Over 2,600 colleges that have committed to zero waste sees the same struggle, but sometimes even at a worse deficit. So we're left with the question, how can we make sorting more intuitive and accessible for every member of college campus?
This is where Sortify comes in. A smart trash sorting assistant technology designed for colleges to help colleges achieve sustainability, while offering users a gamified trashing experience to know where to place trash. There is no need of a PhD to know where to place trash. Just take your phone, scan the trash, and know where to place it. With coordination with colleges, students earn points for their small actions, while colleges achieve sustainability goals.
Here's how it works. Our product uses barcode scanning and AI image detection to simplify sorting. This dual method approach ensures that there's maximum compatibility with all sorts of trash. First, our product scans for a barcode, and if that doesn't work out, our AI technology comes in help. Our AI model will be catered towards specific colleges to make this accuracy even higher. In the future, we will also have a hardware implementation around the trash can so that this process could happen anywhere, anytime.
Is this really a big market?
Oh, absolutely. Although sorting seems straightforward, our market research paints an optimistic picture. With over 2,600 colleges that have committed to zero waste, this estimates around 500 million in total market size. Our core revenue model is a $30 per student annual subscription fee charged to colleges, and we've estimated that it would take around $7,000 to launch this solution to market. And our ongoing cost of $6,200 to cover expenses such as AI computing power, secure cloud hosting, and third-party integration. In the future, we plan on fully implementing the solution at Swarthmore and its neighbor colleges, Bryn Mawr and Haverford. By then, we will have established a proof of concept and move forward with bigger research universities.
So, folks, join Sortify, a team of environmental activists and tech enthusiasts to help colleges achieve sustainability. Thank you so much.
So this seems like a great initiative. Why would I want to pay for it? I mean, it seems like public information almost, right?
So the question is, why would you want to pay for it? Yeah, so colleges spend a lot of money to try to resort trash. For instance, Swarthmore College, we've talked to the Office of Sustainability, the Sustainability Office, and they are really craving for our product. They can't wait to get it released because they spend a lot of money on resorting, and also they have hired some students named green advisors who head one of the activities that they do weekly to resort trash, and we are here to help them get rid of that part of their job. Earn money for doing other part of the job, but not resorting trash. So we'll be cutting cost for the college and also helping students get rid of this disgusting job.
So what happens when it can't recognize something either through the AI or barcode? So now I'm confused and I still do the wrong thing. So how does that go through your process at that point?
Yeah, so we are 90% certain that nearly 90% of the products on every campus here, for instance here in the US, will be either having barcodes or be recognized by our AI models, because we are trying to optimize existing AIs to make them very efficient, and this technology is going to work. If it doesn't work, we have a backup technology of attaching QR codes on certain products which are difficult to be recognized by the AI, and then those QR codes will contain information on whether product is trash or recyclable, so it won't fail. Technology-wise, this won't fail. We assure you that.
So what happens if it's a compostable item?
Well, I think for compostable items, we'll train our data to match the campus's trash audits. So it will be fine-tuning our AI models to then specifically be able to that detect those compostable models?
So just to add a little bit onto that, we said our initial cost is $7,000. So the key to answering that question is that we need to work in close coordination with the colleges to ensure that we know exactly where the things belong. How, you may ask, is colleges often have a comprehensive list of items, of complicated lists such as compost or recyclable, that needs to go where it belongs. So we have a manual people that would go through every single item, collect data, and then train with their AI. And that way, it ensures it.
So the people with the problem and the people who are paying are not the same as the people who actually have to take action here. So could you speak a little bit more to your gamification or how you're incentivizing people to actually use the app to sort their trash?
The gamification aspect is a little bit of behavioral thing. So the main incentive for people to sort trash is, one, for moral reasons. Everyone wants to sort trash. And two is earning points that colleges give out because they want to sort trash, right? And the reason why the gamification comes in is to add a little bit of more incentive on how, oh, look at Jack, he sorted more trash than other people. So yeah, it's more of like a leaderboard.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is that students will be earning points which they can use to buy some other products on campus. Like, for instance, you know that you are going to throw a certain trash which has no value, but you know you're going to earn points. So you will be encouraged to scan that trash and know where to place it. This won't be taking too long because it will take like 2 seconds just to know, just to get to be given, in our product, to be given the color of the bin that you have to place the trash. So there is no friction for you to not use our product, and you know that you are going to earn. So why not use it? Everyone is really craving for our product, I think.
For when you have to scan items, I'm just thinking about, you know, you already stand at the sorting, trying to figure out how it is, spend that minute. Like, how long is the time frame of your app to search and go through the database to create? Where should it go? And then the second part is, does it have to be, you know, how does the picture of the item actually have to be scanned? Is it have to have like a black image behind it? Is there something else that has to be done, or can it just be I hold the can up in my hand and it still recognizes it in that way? So just thinking about it as a use case of me walking up to this process to do everything.
Yeah, so first thing that app looks for is a barcode. Barcode guarantees 100% of categorization. And second is where AI comes in, looking at what kind of trash it is. And we believe that with recent AI boom, this is actually more feasible than ever. AI classification, there's a lot of AI classification projects that are out there on GitHub and Hugging Face, and all we have to do is fine-tune those data, fine-tune those models into our data set, and I think we believe that that is achievable.
So how long does it take, though, for it to recognize that?
Yeah, so first of all, we don't believe that this is just achievable because we have already started working on this, and it has like 70% accuracy, 100% accuracy on products with barcodes that are already in our data set. So answering the second question that you asked, how long is it going to take to recognize the product? As of now, it is taking 2 seconds to recognize trash inside center. So it's going to be, we are going to fine tune our AI model to be able to now we are already using the barcode and it's taking 2 seconds. So with AI, we think it's going to be much faster for the products without barcode. So we will be fine tuning our AI model to be very fast.
All right, next up, we have Tiger Boost with Arthur, Daniel, and Matthew.
Hello, everybody. I am Thaniel, this is Arthur, and this is Matthew, and we are Tiger Boost. Now, I want to start off with a statistic. Did you know that 92% of Americans have at least one vitamin or mineral deficiency?
And as we can see, this is the typical stressed, sleep-deprived Swarthmore student bogged down with work. So we did a school-wide survey, got about 500 respondents, and found that about 63% of students would like to see supplements in a bar.
Okay, so what is the solution? Tiger Boost. So Tiger Boost will be a multivitamin bar that's a cross between two markets. One, the vitamin market, and two, the protein bar market. And we'll be specifically targeting college students, and it'll act as a meal replacement. And on your judge's desk right now, we do have, have some prototypes right there, and here's the nutritional information. Okay, so a little bit about the market. The protein bar market is growing rapidly, and that's due to one main reason. Most people are now transitioning to a more healthy lifestyle. They want to eat healthy and just live healthy. And our protein bar will act as a meal replacement, and here are a few key industry players. We can see these bars at Psy or Esses, and the main difference between our bar and these other bars is one, we have multivitamins in them, and they don't, and two, our bar is pretty tasty. Or actually really tasty.
Now, onto key company strengths. First off, our bar is made for students and student athletes by students and student athletes. Your problems are our problems, and we believe Tiger Boost is a solution.
Secondly, we already have early interest from colleges such as Haverford, which would like to stock their cafe shelves and vending machines with our product. They have also referenced us to Bryn Mawr and Villanova and will continue to do so.
Okay, and in fact, my brother right now is in Saudi Arabia playing in the Junior Olympics, and his coach is ranked #3 in the world for fencing, and his wife is the #1 women's squash player, and we can use that to our advantage because that will increase our brand awareness, especially among young college students. And lastly, we think our strategy reaching out to colleges from the get-go will be a competitive advantage because, one, we created the bar specific to your needs, all the college students' needs, so we think that based on our own experiences and what you guys need, we're perfectly poised to take the college market by storm. Okay. Lastly, this is our valuation summary. We did do a variety of financial models, mainly DCF using an exit multiple and a terminal multiple. We had a 7.4% of WACC, and we moved it up 20% and down 20%. And if we follow our plan, we project our valuation to be around $94 million. And if you have questions upon the cost of goods sold, SG&A, or any of the projections, we'll be happy to go dive down deeper into questions as well. Thank you so much for listening.
My immediate question is, in your pitch, you positioned yourself relative to the protein bar market, but what about something like Soylent or other meal replacement equivalents that are supposedly nutritionally complete?
So since we will be targeting primarily college cafes, stuff like, what'd you say, Soylent and what was that?
I just said Soylent.
Oh yeah, Soylent isn't found in cafes, so our main competitors will be what is found in Psy Cafe, for example, which is Quest bars, Cliff bars, RX bars.
Yeah, these are just our key.
Yeah, so we went to the Psy Cafe and the Esses Cafe, and these are the bars we found, and none of these have a multivitamin component.
I'm also curious if you've positioned your nutritional bar as plant-based a lot of these bars position themselves as being plant-based in both the protein source. Now there's increasing studies that you don't want a whey-sourced protein, right? So I'm curious what the protein source in your bars are.
Oh yeah, so it's actually going to be animal-based, but that's also just for texture and taste. Yeah, it's just a lot better than plant-based. And on top of that, whey protein is cheaper than pea protein, so that cost effectiveness is going to be passed on to the buyer.
Do you find you'll lose any market using animal-based versus plant-based at that point, just because of?
Yeah, upon research, animal-based really also counts in vegetarian, so we're really missing the vegan space. But most athletes, they need protein, and students, they need multivitamins. But especially for athletes, we do want proteins because all three of us have played competitive sports, so we know the importance of having enough nutrition.
And yeah, just to add on to that, we do want to stress that what differentiates our bar is not only the multivitamin part of it, but the taste. So we just want to make it taste as good as we can.
Are you planning to have just one flavor?
No.
Yeah, so we're starting out with one flavor, but we're thinking of expanding. But I think that just comes with time, because it takes time to do research and development. Right now we have peanut butter and chocolate chip because we have them in person, so we could actually give it out for you guys to taste.
Where do you see your suggested retail per bar?
Like retail price?
Yep.
Okay, so Thania and I were actually in Haverford yesterday talking to the head of dining. So apparently their pricing for Cliff bars are at $2.25 and for Metrics bars at $3.75. And we are selling basically B2B, so we're focusing on colleges. So we're gonna sell our bar at $2 and they'll mark it up to between $2.25 to $2.50. And we do have a pricing model, and from our suppliers, the cost per bar, depending on how much we produce, ranges from $1.15 to $1.38, and it includes the shipping cost per bar.
So when you did your market research, how often did you find that people actually looked at what was in the bar versus like, it's a nutritional bar and I'll take it, right? Where in the Tiger Boost logo is it really projecting that you're doing vitamins, minerals, and protein?
Yeah, so essentially on our bar, we will have our logo, the tiger, and right below it will say, multivitamin bar. We are gonna hire packaging experts to help us, refine the packaging, because we're not like experts. But I think based off that, we will be able to, brand ourselves pretty well.
Do you see yourself looking at other products in the future of this? Like, is it a powder type situation and other things of, protein type, scenarios, that are used by athletes?
Yeah, so right now our bar is focused on like both students and student athletes. If we were to make another bar, we would probably delve into the high performance athletes route, and we would include ingredients like ashwagandha. It's a natural supplement that can increase athletic performance. So yeah.
What do you see as your primary defensibility relative to, like, say, these established brands? Like, if they see you catch on, they decide to make their own bar with, like, a full vitamin mineral.
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of the risk, especially other companies being interested in doing the same thing, I think we will try to get into contracts with colleges to only sell our bars. Because I know certain colleges, they have contracts with Kind Bar, for example. They have long-term contracts, and after talking to Haverford, I think we could leverage that and really have long-term contracts so that even if they start making the bar, we will have competition. But I think that's bound to happen. But given the long-term contract, we think we'll have a significant source of revenue just going forward.
And is the shelf life of your bar similar to other bars?
We have yet to do shelf life testing, but so this is our first prototype. We're going to have a few more prototypes, and then we'll proceed with efficiency testing, shelf life testing, all of that.
The co-manufacturer has said, though, that they expect the efficiency testing to be similar to other brands.
Have you talked to purveyors about how they would distribute this? Outside of just the company that would make it for you, how would you get it from where it is to the warehouses, from the warehouses to, there's a whole complicated.
Yeah, so we did talk to suppliers with regard to, shipping, all that kind of stuff. So we think of starting out distributing things ourselves, because we're probably going to shift it to either Daniel or I's, like one of our homes, because we have the space to hold quite a bit of bars. So we'll probably start distributing from our homes, and then from there, given that we do have some connections to a few VCs and big food companies, we think that we could start a partnership and develop a e-commerce website or some kind of distribution strategy with them.
And our co-manufacturer also agreed to help us set up with like storing bars in like an Amazon warehouse, something like that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, let's give a big round of applause for all of our teams. your esteemed judges out for 5-10 minutes to confer. In the meantime, we're asking the audience to vote on their favorite pitch, and Dakota is going to be leading the way in that process. All right, once you are done voting, our esteemed judge, Anthony Kashkignano, will be announcing the winners and giving a little bit of an explanation. Have folks finished voting? We good? All right, thank you very much, Anthony.
Well, I want to first tell you all, great job on all your presentations. Give everybody a round of applause for I can tell you, as judges, we had a difficult time walking through this and trying to figure out whose was the best at this point. But we'll start with who came in third. And Chance, you came in third. We really enjoyed your idea. We thought it was a great model. Just thinking about one of the big things we wanted you to think about is your pricing model, and thinking about how that really may be something you have to think about as you're trying to expand this process, and thinking about how people use it and how you get them. But overall, great product, and we thought it would be something that people could be useful for. So, coming in second, Rush. We enjoyed your product as well. We thought it was a nifty product for being able to look at the accessibility. We think you should really think about it in a broader picture of where you should be going with it, and how it could be more impactful by having some of those smaller details that you talk about that you want to grow into, but kind of having those are going to be features that you're going to want to have trying to sell that point of what you're doing. And so we really wanted to kind of emphasize a little bit of trying to think about that in the market, of how you could grow that in a different way, and think about your segments of where your market should be from just not thinking about it from the ads, but also how you're going to sell it to people in that way too as well. And coming in first, Nudge Budge. So the product we thought was really, something that could be really well thought of out there, and could connect a lot of students and help create a lot of wellness for them, and just have an experience that could help students to get through things. But also think about your market and how you can expand that, and really think about your scalability and how you can make that work, and just a little bit more on your financial model of how that can kind of fit into it. But excellent job. And to our others, great job. Nothing bad about what you guys were creating. Keep your heads in there and keep trying to plug away at what you're building. We look forward to seeing how those can be.
All right, and the votes are in for the best pitch, the audience choice. We had 72 people vote for this, and the winner with 18 votes, and that's around 25% of the voting, is Nudge Budge.
It was extremely tight. The next, they're all just a couple percentage points away from each other. So you guys did an amazing job. Congratulations. Thank you, everyone, for your attention, for being here today, for celebrating the incredible work of our students. Stay tuned. They're going to keep doing amazing things. There's a reception outside. Please join us and keep learning about what we're doing.